first of all, Shiba Inu, as you said, is this kind of knockoff of Dogecoin, right? And Dogecoin was this initial kind of fun coin that was created back, I think, around 2014 or so. And it was just created by Jackson Palmer and like put it out as a joke for a couple of hours, and a community formed around it. And at the beginning, people didn't take it very seriously. I actually remember putting about $25,000 into Doge sometime around 2016. And I just remember just thinking to myself, like, okay, how am I going to explain to my mom that I just invested $25,000 into dog coins? And like, what even are dog coins? Like, the only interesting thing about this coin is that there's, a logo of a dog somewhere. But, of course, that ended up being one of the best investments I've ever made. And it did really well. And then at the end of 2020, Elon Musk, of course, started talking about Dogecoin. And the market cap just like shot up to about $50 billion. Actually, and it shot up multiple times, right? Like the first time it went up from about 0.8 cents to about like 7 cents. And this just happened all in one day. And I remember this was when I was still in Singapore in the middle of COVID, and I saw that the price just went up by 1,000%, and I was like, oh my God, my Doge is worth like a lot. And so I immediately called up some of my friends and told them to like drop everything and scramble. And I sold half the Doge, and I got $4.3 million, donated the proceeds to give directly. And a few hours after I did this, the price dropped back down from about 7 cents to 4 cents, right? So I managed to sell the Doge at the top, and I remember just feeling like I was such an amazing trader. But then, of course, the price went up from 4 cents, then to 7, and then 50, and just like Doge becoming this big phenomenon where there's even a lot of people that have heard of Doge that have not heard of Ethereum is just like something even I wasn't predicting, right? And so after that, of course, we have Doge, and then people are thinking, well, if the leading dog token is worth $50 billion, then surely the second largest dog token deserves, at least 7 or 8 billion, right? Like, I feel like that's kind of what the mindset of these Shiba people is. So then, of course, they did this other gimmick, right? Where they gave me half the Shiba token supply. They were actually not the first projects to do this. So around the end of 2020, there was this weird project called Teller. It's like TELLOR. I think they're a Chainlink competitor or something like this. But I remember they just like dumped $50,000 worth of their token into my wallet. And then they had their Twitter army just like basically run around saying, look at Vitalik's wallet. Vitalik holds Tellers. He's one of us. He's a supporter. And as soon as I discovered this, I just like publicly sold the Teller tokens on Uniswap, and this created a bit of a Twitter splat. Now, the Shiba people were more clever. The Shiba people, instead of dumping to that wallet, they dumped to my cold wallet. Right. So in like cryptocurrency, right, there's this concept of like cold wallets and hot wallets. Basically, like the thing that actually owns your money is like this 80-digit number called a private key, right? And a hot wallet is when that private key is just stored in memory on your computer, on your phone, really easy to access. Cold wallet means it's either written down on a piece of paper, or it's on a computer that's just never accessed the internet, right? So cold is very inconvenient, but cold is also much more secure, right? Because even if that computer has some like viruses on it, like it's like air gapped, it's not actually going to be able to upload it. So this cold wallet, and like all the money is out of the cold wallet, so it's safe for me to talk about my setup now, right? But it was a laptop that was sitting in Canada, and I also had 2 pieces of paper where I wrote down 2 numbers on those 2 pieces of paper. Mm-hmm. One was with me, one was in Canada, and if you add those 2 numbers together, you get the private key. So because of COVID travel restrictions, and this is this cold wallets in Canada, like it's very difficult for me to actually access it, right? And I'm not sure if they knew this. Maybe they just got lucky, but like basically they sent a lot of these dog tokens into this wallet where it was very difficult for me to access it. But then I saw these dog tokens, I saw more and more people talking about them, and then at some point I realized that like, hey, these things are worth billions of dollars, and like, there's lots of really good things that you could do with that amount of money, and it would actually be a waste to just like see it go. So I made the decision that like I would actually power through and figure out how to like safely like basically get my private key. I actually had to call up my family, tell them to read out their number off of their piece of paper. I entered that into a fresh laptop that I bought from Target. Then I put in my other number on my piece of paper, added the two numbers together on the computer. There's the key. And at the same time, like, just scrambled for 2 days, setting up a new wallet to where I could move my ETH to safely, like getting people to be multi-sig partners, just like doing all sorts of like stuff that, 10 years ago you would expect to just be part of a cyberpunk, science fiction novel, but, now it's all real.
So you're doing this all by yourself, essentially.
Most of it by myself. So you
have to keep it secret.
Right. And I needed my family to actually like go and read the number on their piece of paper. And then I, in my new multi-sig wallet, like there's other people that are signatories. But, I'm obviously not going to reveal any details beyond that. So I did this, right? And I actually managed to get the private key, make the first transaction that would just move all my Ether to the multi-sig wallet so it's safe. And then second put the private key on my main computer, then started, going in and just selling some of the dog tokens and then just like giving them to these different charities. Now, at the time, I actually did not even like have any idea of how much you would be able to get, right? Because like on paper, the dog tokens are $7 billion, but like in reality, it's a very liquid market. Are you going to crash it by after you sell 1 million worth? Are you going to crash it after 10 million? Are you going might you actually be able to get like an entire 200 million? I had no idea. So I definitely was just of the mindset like, okay, I'll sell a bit, maybe get some ETH, and then, donated some ETH to GiveWell, donated some to other groups, and then, okay, have some dog tokens. Like, I don't have an easy ability to sell more myself, but then I'll just like give them to these groups and like, hopefully they'll do good things with them. It was actually, I actually donated 20% and dumped 80%. Okay. Yeah, so the COVID India group got one batch, and then there's another group that got another batch. And I don't want to say who they are because I think they want to announce themselves at some point.
Sure.
Yeah, but you can see the fact that these transactions were made on the blockchain. But no, it was just very interesting and unexpected and just an insanely crazy situation. I'm sure there's some things that I probably could have done better. Like I was actually talking to some of these charities, and I was impressed by just how much money they managed to get out of selling some of these coins. So I probably could have done better by just like talking more with traders and actually ensuring that they can do a better job of maximizing the value of all of them. But like, it was a very stressful time, and I did have to act quickly. Like I did manage to make a lot of the donations before, like a few days before the great crypto crash happened. So it was, it's difficult to like. Obviously, there's parallel universes in which I did better, but at the same time, there's also lots of parallel universes where, because I hesitated more and tried to spend more time thinking, I missed the opportunity. So, on net, it's like a luck of the draw, and I'm just, happy that everything was able to turn out as well as it did.